Good afternoon, and welcome to the ISO Board of Governors General Session Meeting. Before we begin, please note you may enter the comment queue at any time during today's event. To enter the queue, you may click on the raise hand icon at the bottom of the Zoom window. With that, I'll turn the conference over to Chair Bhagwat. Please go ahead.
Thank you. Welcome to the general session of the California ISO Board of Governors meeting. We have a relatively short agenda today, thankfully. I think we should get through it quickly. I also wanted to mention that because of the pending weather event that California is facing, our CEO and COO may or may not be in attendance. They're looking to other important things. And with that, Roger, do you want to call the roll?
Yes, thank you, Chair Bhagwat. And we'll start with you, Chair Bhagwat.
Present.
Vice Chair Leslie.
Present.
Governor Bornstein.
Present.
Governor Glitova. Governor Shorey.
Present.
Thank you, governors. And Chair Bhagwat, back to you. We have a quorum.
Great. First item is any public comment on issue that is not on the agenda. This is non-agendized issues. Operator, do you see any public comment?
Once again, if you would like to make a comment, please click on the raise hand icon at the bottom of the Zoom window. And it looks like we have no comments at this time.
Great, thank you. Okay, then move on to item number 2, the decision on the July 21, 2022 general session minutes. Roger.
Thank you, Chair Bhagwat. May we have a motion to approve the July 21, 2022 general session minutes for the ISO Board of Governors?
So moved.
Thank you, Governor Bornstein. Second.
Second.
Thank you, Chair Bhagwat. Chair Bhagwat, your vote.
Aye.
Vice Chair Leslie.
Aye.
Governor Bornstein.
Aye.
Governor Glitova.
Aye.
Governor Shorey.
Aye.
Thank you, governors. The motion passes. The next item, I'll just go ahead while I'm speaking, is the CEO report. And since our CEO is unavailable at the moment, we have switched that, and the written version is part of our informational items that have been posted.
Great, thank you. Then the next item is the WEIM governing body chair report. Rob.
Thank you. Can you hear me all right?
Yes.
Thank you. Chair Bhagwat, Vice Chair Leslie, and governors, good afternoon. I'm speaking today on behalf of the Western Energy Imbalance Market Governing Body. And my report today will cover the governing body meeting that took place yesterday, August 30th. Cal ISO President CEO Elliot Major was able to participate in our meeting, and he did provide a report covering issues and activities since our last governing body meeting, which took place in July. Comments focused on the key issues of EDAM, governance review committee work, transmission service, and market scheduling priorities, or as we generally refer to it as wheel throughs, the resource sufficiency evaluation enhancements phase 2, and the outstanding WEIM second quarter benefits. He concluded by providing some remarks regarding the emerging heat wave that is projected over the southern half of the Western interconnection this week, and I'll be one to attest that we are in it now. Next, we had Utah Public Service Commission Chairman Tad LeVar, who is chair of the body of state regulators, provide an update on the BOSR or Bosr activities. Chair LeVar noted the Bosr did submit consensus comments on the EDAM straw proposal. The Bosr is generally supportive of the current straw proposal, and he noted that the Bosr did not submit comments related to greenhouse gas accounting, at least at this time, as the Bosr is trying to focus on just one area of the straw proposal each month. Then Chair LeVar concluded with 2 items. First, governance is critical to moving forward with EDAM. And second, resolution of the wheel-through initiative is important, but the Bosr currently does not have consensus comments. Next, Josh Walters, who is the vice chair of the Regional Issues Forum, gave a report on upcoming RIF activities. The RIF has not met since our last report, but they are meeting tomorrow. Interestingly, the focus of tomorrow's meeting will be assessments on how the WEIM performs during stressed market conditions. Subsequently, the RIF will be meeting in person in Sacramento, and it will be held the day prior to the CAISO Symposium. Next on our agenda, Eric Eisenman, who is a member of the Governance Review Committee, provided an update on the GRC activities. The GRC held a public workshop on the current straw proposal 2 days ago. Although the entire scope of the straw proposal was reviewed and discussed, decisional authority received the most attention and time during the meeting. The GRC is working in parallel time-wise with the development of EDAM so that both can be presented to the Board of Governors and the governing body at the same time in the December or January timeframe. Next, the governing body received an update from staff on the WEIM benefits. Guillermo Batista Alderate, the Director of Market Analysis and Forecasting, briefed the governing body on the outstanding second quarter 2022 gross benefits of $287.4 million and a cumulative benefit from inception of $2.39 billion. And then lastly, at this meeting, we heard from staff regarding key policy initiatives. Anna McKenna, Vice President of Market Policy and Performance, briefed the governing body on status and issues of resource efficiency, transmission service and market scheduling priorities, wheel-throughs, EDAM, energy storage enhancements, price formation, and the WEIM Washington Climate Initiative. And with that, this concludes my report, and I'm happy to respond to any questions you may have.
Great, thank you, Rob. Any questions? Chair Condiloka. Okay, great. Then thank you very much.
Thank you.
Our next item is the WEIM Governance Review Committee update. Chair Hampton.
Good afternoon, and thanks for the opportunity to update. Rob kind of did a good job of the update there based on what Eric spoke with them about yesterday. But I'll go ahead and just give a little bit of additional comment on that. Just a reminder where we've been, and I think we talked about this at the last meeting, but we did issue a straw proposal on July 15th, and we took comments for a month between July 15th and August 15th. We also held a public meeting to talk about the straw proposal on July 20th. We received a record number of written comments on August 15th on this straw proposal. And actually, it was really helpful, the comments and the level of engagement that we've had from stakeholders on that. We can very clearly see where there are just areas of alignment, and then some areas where we want to have additional conversation with stakeholders. And so we did that on Monday with the general session meeting. And as was noted, a lot of the conversation is around delegation of authority and not so much on the type of delegation of authority. There seems to be pretty strong alignment around a joint authority model, but the issue under question is the scope of joint authority. So what falls under that joint authority model? So we will continue to work through comments, and as the GRC take all of this input in deliberate. We are on track, kind of working on this over the next couple of weeks with a goal of having a revised straw proposal in late October. And we still have a full schedule to get you a final proposal to be considered in collaboration and coordination with the EDAM market design. Happy to take any questions.
Thank you very much. Any questions? Seeing none, thank you very much for that report, and thank you for the hard work. Okay, our next item is our sole decisional item, the decision on conditional approval of reliability must-run contracts for 2023. Neil.
Thank you very much, Chair Bogwat, governors. Yes, this is our annual decision item on extending the existing reliability must-run contracts. This year, we're not bringing forward any new RMR requirements at this time, but we do need to seek an annual approval Well, a number of the contracts have provisions that look beyond the next year. The actual approval is a 1 year by 1 year basis. So we are bringing the 4 contracts in for conditional approval for extension. And at this time, I'd like to introduce Jeff Billington, our Director of Transmission Infrastructure Planning, that will walk you through the presentation and look for the lead up to a decision item. Thank you. Jeff?
Thanks, Neil. Good afternoon, Chair Bogwat and members of the board. As Neil indicated, I'll be presenting the decision item on the conditional approval to extend the existing reliability must-run contracts for 2023. Next slide, please. And so as we've indicated, the conditional approval for those must-runs contracts for 2023 is being sought today. The reliability needs in local areas and system-wide determined through the ISO studies has identified the need for specific resources under the current reliability must-run contracts being required, and the resource adequacy capacity from the specific resources have not been contracted for by a load-serving entity. Next slide, please. So based upon the scheduled events in August this year and September, conditional approvals are sought each year at this time with letters for reliability must-run extensions or terminations to be sent to the resource owners by or on October 1st. This process will take into account the preliminary resource adequacy showings made by the load-serving entities by September 15th related to the current reliability must-run resources. Next slide, please. The extension of the reliability must-run designation contracts for local needs for 2023 are recommended for the Oakland units number 1 and 3 and the Greenleaf number 2 cogen. And then with that, the extension for the system or the reliability must-run designation contracts for the system needs for 2023, which has been based on the assessment of 2024 supply conditions and procurement risk with the high volume of authorized procurement for that year, are recommended for the Channel Island Power unit and the Midway Sunset cogen units. Results of the reliability must-run contract extensions will be reported back to you at the October board meeting. And in addition, the ISO will not be seeking extension of the reliability must-run contract for the Kingsbury cogen, as it is now under a resource adequacy capacity contract. And in addition, also the ISO will not be executing a new reliability must-run contract for the Agnew power plant, as it is now under a resource adequacy capacity contract. Next slide, please. And so with this, subject to the conditional approval of the identified reliability must-run contracts, the ISO will take the following steps. We'll continue to track the contract status of all of the resources through to the end of September. One of the other things is we'll also investigate potential transitioning the 2 system RMR resources into the state strategic reserves. And in addition, as I've already indicated, we'll report back the results of the RMR contract extensions at the October Board of Governors meeting. With that, that concludes kind of the presentation, and we can open it up for discussion.
Sorry, unmute. Thank you very much. Questions from the board? Okay, then let's open it up for public comment.
Once again, if you would like to make a public comment, please click on the raise hand icon at the bottom of the Zoom window. And we do have a comment from Eric Eisenman.
Good afternoon. Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
We can.
Thank you. Good afternoon, CAISO board, CAISO management, Eric Eisenman with PG&E. First, thanks to Jeff and Neil. They've been dealing with RMRs for way too many years, and just really always appreciate their hard work on this. So PG&E spoken to the board many times in the past about the RMR process and specific RMR designations. Like we've articulated in past years, PG&E views the RMR process as flawed, but recognizes the need to maintain system reliability. So with that in mind, PG&E will not oppose the 4 resources recommended for designation in 2023. Let me give you, though, a little more color about the whole process. So after a contract is signed between the ISO and a designated resource, the resource owner is required to submit a cost recovery application to FERC, generally for the upcoming calendar year. It's basically like a rate case, equivalent to a rate case they have to file with FERC. Now, these resources are almost always pretty high cost. They've asked to retire or mothball. They wouldn't be asking to retire or mothball if they were really good, efficient resources. So that, we go in with the assumption that the costs of these resources are going to be pretty high. Generally, after these filings are made, FERC encourages settlement discussions between the resource owner, the CAISO, and the stakeholders. Our experience is that these settlement processes take a long time to resolve all the issues. And in fact, there are still 2 proceedings unresolved, one for 2021 and a second one for 2022. We're working hard, as is Neil and his team, to resolve these, but we're not there yet. So with your approval or conditional approval of these designations today, we're anticipating 3 more cost recovery applications being submitted to FERC in approximately 2 months. I hope I'm wrong, but PG&E really expects these proceedings to take a long time to resolve. And given everything we all have going on, it's not, I think for PG&E, it's not the best use of our time, but we have to be engaged at FERC. And I don't want to put words in the mouth of Neil and Jeff, but I'm going to say it's probably not the best use of their time either. And I think the FERC staff and other stakeholders feel the same way. So I wanted to just give you this color. In conclusion, I'm not asking for anything, but just wanted to make these comments. We don't oppose the designations. We'll be an active, engaging participant in all the FERC proceedings, but our hope is that sometime soon the RMR process can be improved, or better yet, eliminated. Thanks.
Any questions for Eric? Thank you, Eric. That's helpful. And every time this happens, I have to add at the end, yes, I agree with you.
Thanks.
Ash, could I ask the staff a question?
Of course.
I just wanted to clarify that the 2 system RMR contracts that are being recommended are actually not showing a system need for 23. They are showing a system need for 24, but we have to go ahead and renew them now. And in order to assure that we will be able to renew them next year, whereas the 2 local RMRs that you're recommending, we are showing a need for those for local support in 23.
That is correct. Yeah, it's Neil here. That's correct.
But we're only awarding the contract for 23 for the 2 system units, even though the year we really need them is 24.
Yes, all these contracts do call for an annual extension. So we're only extending them 1 year at a time.
So we have to come back to this again next year. We can't approve them again next year. Okay.
Yes, if we need them.
And you'll have to look at them again, I assume, and decide that you really do need them in 24.
Yes, and to be fair, there's always a chance some of these get picked up for a resource adequacy contract and that we would not extend them. So that's the basis for the annual extension.
I recognize, and even Eric, nobody really wants to have to extend these, but and I assume that's the basis for the 1 year at a time philosophy that we have.
Yes, and in the case of both of the local resources, local RMR requirements, there are projects already approved by this board that are moving forward that PG&E is actively working on that would do away with the need for the local RMR going forward. But those.
To give you a sense, Jen, the Oakland plant that we RMR'd for local need, it burns jet fuel. Nobody wants that around. We want to get rid of that as fast as possible. It's just
Indeed.
We totally agree and totally are doing what we can to make that happen.
May I add something?
Of course.
Yeah, just to second what Neil said, yeah, we are working hard on the projects to relieve the designations at Greenleaf and Oakland, and we'll keep you informed. If you have any questions, please ask offline. We'll get answers, and I'll just note on the Oakland plant, and I'm saying this with a smile on my face, it's actually within walking distance of our PG&E's new Oakland headquarters. I'd be happy to take a walk with any of you at any time to go see it.
A little piece of history.
Yes, thank you.
Of course.
We'll make a point to visit it, Eric.
I look forward to it.
Eric, I'm just wondering at this point, since this is a regular event when we do RMRs, when we have this conversation, what would you consider a reform? What you think is a flawed system?
Well, that's not easy to answer really quickly. It's part of the whole RA. In my view, it's kind of part of the whole RA process that I think you've been briefed on that needs some improvement. So it kind of just fits in that wagon. But what I was saying about the FERC process, I'm not pushing back on what the action you're about to take in your vote with the designations. It's the whole FERC process is hard. It's hard for all of us, and I wish I had some ways to improve that, but it's just hard. They're high costs, and our customers have to pay for it. And we have to do these every year. I also wish there was some way we didn't have to do it every single year. We've had to do these for Oakland now for every year for over 20 years. It's just not, it's not a good use. It's not a very efficient use of our time. Let's put it that way. So I don't have a lot of whole great ideas. I just know it just bugs us a lot, and we wish we could find a better way of this, but it fits into the whole need to improve RA. So I hope that's helpful.
Yeah, it's helpful.
Any other public comment? Any more questions from the board?
Sorry, we do have another public comment.
Okay.
Kathleen Colbert, please go ahead.
Hi, yeah, thank you. This is Kathleen Colbert from Vistra. I just wanted to add some clarifications and then also acknowledge the CAISO staff and PG&E staff's work on this on these annual efforts. They are annual and ongoing conversations. So my first clarification I wanted to give is that if you're not aware, Vistra owns and operates the Oakland units 1 and 3. So we are the owners and operators of the Oakland units that Ash you referred to. And I echo your sentiment. We are incredibly committed to retiring the existing fossil fuel, jet fueled units at Oakland and to replace them and repower them with battery energy storage systems. That is a big part of our focus and our priority. We partner with both our PG&E partner as the participating transmission owner, as well as the CAISO. And in that light, I wanted to acknowledge Neil and Jeff specifically. We are in fairly frequent talks and regular communicating the status of these projects, making sure that as the owner, we're on the same page with CAISO and the participating transmission owner of PG&E. And I have really appreciated the efforts that Neil and his team have put forward to helping to try to coordinate and collaborate on a plan to eventually retire these units that ideally will no longer be needed for local needs once we complete both some transmission, once PG&E completes some transmission upgrades on their side, and then that should afford the capability and hopefully in the near future for the replacement of the fossil fuels with some battery energy storage systems. It is a coordinated project and plan across multiple entities. And I wanted to both clarify, Vistra's role as the unit's owner and operator, and thank the CAISO specifically for your engagement and continued work with us.
Thank you very much. Any questions for Ms. Colbert? Okay, thank you. And any more public comment?
We have no further public comments at this time.
Then, Roger, I believe we are ready for a motion.
You are correct. Move that the ISO Board of Governors authorizes management to extend reliability must-run contracts for the CSU Channel Islands Site Authority, Sunset Cogeneration Company, Danage Oakland and Starwood Energy Group generating units listed on attachment 1 of the memorandum dated August 24, 2022, consistent with the criteria described therein. Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Sorry, try again.
I moved it if you want that.
Thank you, Jeff. And second from Governor Borenstein. Governor Bogwat, your vote, please.
Aye.
Governor Borenstein,
Aye.
Governor Galitova,
Aye.
Governor Leslie,
Aye.
and Governor Shorey.
Aye.
Thank you, governors. The motion passes.
Well, thank you, Roger. Our last item is informational reports. Any questions from any of the board members on the informational reports? Okay, seeing none, the general session is adjourned.